This summer's World Cup could be
scary. So, you know that
common thing in horror movies where the victim is desperately, frantically running, trying to get away.
Please help me! Help!
While the killer is just slowly, methodically walking? Well, that's exactly what it's like for our bodies with extreme heat. It can be slow, methodical, and eventually dangerous. And we know that players want to perform their best no matter what, but with extreme heat, when they run too far, too fast, without really cooling off,
and Daly just goes down.
And this is just the painful part of playing in this heat.
And new research shows that virtually every World Cup match faces the risk of heat, which could slow players down and put their health at risk.
When you're witnessing a heat exhaustion episode happen to someone else, it's really scary.
I ultimately end up playing worse if I'm thinking too much about how hot I am.
So in this video, we're gonna hear from professional soccer players about exactly how heat throws off their game, which World Cup host cities face the biggest risk, look at groundbreaking research testing athletes and showing that the level of heat and humidity that our bodies can safely tolerate is actually lower than what we once thought. Oh, and also, does heat make players more aggressive? Let's dig into all this because I think the more we understand, the better we can keep people safe. Hey, I'm Chase, Emmy Award-winning meteorologist, and I think it matters that we talk about heat and humidity in sports, yes, because it can be dangerous even for elite athletes, but also because here in the US, 1 in 3 people work outside in the heat every day. You can probably hear the lawnmower that's driving by me right now. People like that is millions of Americans who face risk from heat and humidity. So hopefully this brings visibility to what they deal with as well. But before we get into the science, let's first hear from athletes about what it's like to play when it's really hot and humid.
Porque correr atrás de resultado com calor.
That's Marquinhos, the captain for Brazil in the World Cup. And he told reporters that in last summer's World Cup club against Madrid and Chelsea, extreme heat was a huge factor.
Que começou ganhando.
Now, if that sounds like an excuse, it's really not, because scientists researched those exact World Cup club matches last summer. They were tracking player performance down to fractions of a second, and they found a clear link that when it is hot and humid, players didn't run as far, and they ran slower too.
If the sun is beating down, I feel like my head is throbbing and I need water.
Alex Jacobs just wrapped a season in the Jamaica Premier League and has also played in a lot of other hot places like Puerto Rico and Costa Rica.
Take me inside, like your mind, your body, you're out there on the field. You obviously want to perform your best, but it's hot, but it's humid. Like, what are you feeling? What are you thinking in those moments?
It's a mental battle. Like football or soccer is a very mental sport. The hotter it is, the harder it is to balance all the things that are going on the field and the decisions I make as to where I want to pass or do I need to run with that player. Those decisions become harder to make, and yeah, I ultimately end up playing worse if I'm thinking too much about how hot I am.
To Daly.
There was a player in the league. The game was at 3 p.m. in Houston because of TV rights. That was the mandated kickoff time. And she actually passed out from heat exhaustion on live TV.
And Daly just goes down.
That's the first time where I was like, at what cost to players? And I feel like I bring that up as an example ahead of the World Cup because at what cost?
And that question underscores a new analysis from Climate Central. Their scientists found that of the 104 World Cup matches, 97 of them face a higher risk of heat being driven by pollution from oil and gas, which is making our atmosphere hotter. In other words, climate change is making soccer more dangerous.
It's just going to be such a big factor in this World Cup. It's so striking and it's concerning, and like it in a way, it's like I'm not as excited I'm still excited for the World Cup, but I'm just cognizant of like we might not see the same level of football that we're accustomed to in the World Cup.
Climate Central developed a tracker to show the risk and climate influence in each match. And even when you account for the 3 stadiums that have air conditioning, you still see a lot of matches shaded in red, with the biggest risk of climate-driven heat in Guadalajara, Monterrey, Miami, Kansas City, and Philadelphia. You can check it out for yourself with the link in the description, along with a story about some of the scientists working to better understand heat risk for athletes and outdoor workers. One of them is Larry Kenny. He's a physiologist at Penn State, and he told me that as common as the heat index is,
And down here we do have to talk about the heat index because
that's not what we should be paying attention to.
The heat index, as you pointed out, is just a perceptual index. It's a measure of how hot it feels when you combine temperature and relative humidity. And it's calculated using a very long, bulky, unwieldy equation that nobody really knows or understands. The problem becomes when people start to get active. So the more active you are in those conditions, the less well heat index is at predicting the impact of the environment on your body.
That's why he used special chambers to measure how the human body responds to heat with humidity, specifically using what's called wet bulb temperature. That measures how effectively a person can sweat to cool off when the air is humid, because humidity makes sweat evaporate more slowly and keeps our bodies hotter. And until Kenny's research, experts thought the most that any human could survive was 95 degrees with 100% humidity. But he discovered it's actually a lot lower.
The real upper limit is closer to 87 or 88 degrees Fahrenheit wet bulb temperature. So we call those critical environmental limits. Those types of wet bulb temperatures really haven't been seen anywhere on Earth until very recently. And yet people are succumbing to humid heat waves all over the planet.
And one more thing about heat and soccer.
I think there's good science around like aggression and the link between temperature and aggression. And I just experienced that. Like people are quicker to anger in hotter temperatures.
And research backs that up. More heat leads to more aggressive play, which leads to more penalties. So with all that, what should we, the fans, be thinking about or doing during what could be the hottest World Cup ever held?
The deeper they go into the tournament, the more that fatigue and the compounding effects of the heat is going to affect them. It's funny because at that time, everybody is more invested and more critical. It's a knockout phase game, and my expectation as a fan is going to be even higher. I don't care that you played 4 games, in the span of 2 weeks. So I think just what I would love people supporting the athletes throughout the tournament to remember is just like, take a second to think about how hot you might feel when you step outside one day, and then apply the effort that they're putting for 100+ minutes, and know that they have to do that for 7 games to try to lift the trophy. And if you're complaining, as well you should, because sometimes it's really hot outside, just like have that moment of grace for your favorite player when they miss a pass or a shot on goal or a tackle, because like it's hard.
So the bottom line is, don't be surprised if a match gets delayed because it's so hot and so humid. And in the future, I think sports are going to have to think about more than just the time of day that they're playing. They might have to rethink what time of year they play too. If you like this video, make sure you're subscribed and check out one of these videos while you're here.